Hey everybody, we are back for a brand new episode of the Mama's Wife podcast. I'm Benji.
And I'm Trina.
And today, you know the drill, we're just going to go over our favorite shows. Some of them we're already annoyed with, but you know what? It's okay, because the one we're annoyed with is almost over. So, anyway, do we have any life updates we want to talk about? Since literally last week.
Dogs just got baths.
Oh yeah, I mean,
they smell good, they
boring,
feel good.
But yeah, they just got bathed. Yeah. Anyway, the drying process is interesting with these dogs. But anyway, yeah, I don't. Oh, you guys started Cobra Kai.
Oh, we did.
Which
3 in of the 5 I think they put out for the first part. It's okay. It's not as cringeworthy as last season so far.
I'm over the show, so I tuned out and then I left.
Yeah, you totally left.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened to you.
Anyway, yeah. So let's just get right into our. Which one do we want to do first? You said New Jersey. Okay. Yeah. Let's get into Housewives of New Jersey. So it starts with Danielle and Rachel. Are you enjoying them so far this season, or they're just kind of like they're newbies? I'm over them already.
Rachel's kind of boring.
Yeah, Rachel's boring. She creates issues where there doesn't need to be issues, which I guess.
I think it's just for like a storyline.
Yeah, you have
She's
to.
She's offended by everything.
Yeah, you can't be a prude at. How old is she? 32.
I don't even know.
Stop.
She got a nice house.
Yeah, with no
yard,
grass in the yard.
But it's getting there. Mm-hmm. There's a process.
Anyway, so yeah, Danielle goes over to Rachel's house. She's like, "Oh my god, this is nice." And then I remember that they weren't like friends last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like they
I
started
don't think
off
she'd
with
ever
Rocky,
been
so
there.
they'd never been there. So she's like, "Oh my god, this house is nice." Anyway,
yeah,
goes in, and then their kids have like a little play date or whatever they have to tell themselves, so that way they can hang out for whatever random reason.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so they get together and they start talking, and Danielle is like, I guess, still disappointed that her dad, who she had like a falling out with recently, is like still missing milestones in her kid's life. Mm-hmm. Which do we actually know the reason why they had a falling out?
Something like he sided with the brother, which she's at odds with, or something like that. I think that was it. But the mom is still on her side.
The mom's still okay.
Yeah.
But here's the thing where I'm annoyed with these situations is because it's like, why are you mentioning someone that's not on camera? It's like, okay, cool, but what does that have to do with anything? You know what I mean?
Well, it's her life. It's
your life, but like at the same time, like talk the beef out on camera, which I'm assuming they're not like for. You know what I mean? Like the person that they're beefing with is not like, I'm not duking it out on camera with you.
I think they just don't want to be around her. Period.
I guess.
I don't think they want to talk about it, like the brother and everything else. Like
yeah. So it's just like, don't talk about someone that we're not going to see on the show. It's just annoying at this point. It's like all last season with Laura, you know, the one that had like the beef or the chisme on Melissa that never was shown. Mm-hmm. It's like, stop bringing up people that aren't on the show. Anyway, you're part of the cast for a reason. Talk about those people. Anyway, she basically says that she's like reminiscing about how her dad, I guess, once saw Danielle in another physical altercation when she was younger. And how he was like around the corner and he was just like, yeah, get her. Mm-hmm. Now I know if I were in that situation and I got into a physical altercation, there would be no cheering from my parents. No. As far as like, yeah, you did that. You did good. Yeah. No. Which she said, I guess, on the recent like Watch Up and Slide that I guess the family all got together or something and they watched her like altercation with Jennifer, and they treated it like it was a UFC fight, and I was like,
yeah,
that's not something to brag about. I hate to break it to you, Danielle, but yeah, I guarantee you, if I got into a fight, the last thing my parents are gonna do is like pat me on the back, be like, "Good job." Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trashy.
It's trashy. And then they have like the little hangout, boring, yeah, whatever. Okay, move on. Teresa's stressing because of Louis' lawsuit with his ex-fiance.
Yeah, which we really don't know anything about. I mean, it's just like all, like little bits and pieces, which I think tonight's episode, right?
Yeah.
It comes up tonight.
Yes.
I think it'll give us a little bit more information, but I think it's causing her a lot of stress, but we don't know exactly what the stress is, and then something to do with Margaret. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like those pieces are still out there, and they're just like little, I don't know, teasers, I guess, about the whole situation. So that'll be divulged, but, we'll see.
And that's the whole thing. It's like Margaret apparently has been talking to this ex-fiance the whole time.
Is that what
That's what their claim is. And so now, basically she's been fueling the fire and like giving him like, I don't know.
But who cares?
Little tidbits and stuff.
Stupid.
Yeah. And so, basically Marge, is involving herself when she shouldn't be, and that's what's stressing out Teresa. Is like, okay, well, what are you telling the ex-fiance? It's like a harassment type thing. Like she's claiming that Louis was harassing her, the ex-fiance, and that
which you
there's
kind
like
of
a restraining
because,
order.
I mean, he was in everybody else's lives and going through that Bo Diddley guy or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Bo Diddley, whatever his name is.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, you could see that happening, so his credibility is kind of shot.
No, yeah.
As far as that goes, in my mind, but whatever.
Yeah, we get like a little bit more like info, I guess, about this lawsuit thing. But it's like at the same time, like, why are you just now mentioning it? Like, we're on episode 12.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, but whatever. And so now I guess Teresa wants her lawyer, the one that dealt with her when she was in prison and then
with
got
Joe
out.
and been there from the beginning. Actually, if you look at back footage of all the seasons,
she wants him to come over and explain to all the girls like what's the situation. But I'm like,
which is stupid.
Why are you having? You shouldn't be explaining a lawsuit that's current, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's lawyer stuff, especially if it doesn't even involve you, Teresa. I mean, it does, but it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. So then we cut to the next scene. Margaret has Melissa and Joe over to cut down her tree. Boring. Hire somebody to do it. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
It's
like
dumb.
you have money to actually pay an arborist that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
But again, story.
Let's hire Joe Gorga.
It's just a story.
Yeah.
Storyline.
Come over, talk about Joe Benigno's potential prostate cancer or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But the thing that was also like shady is the fact that like Margaret and Melissa just posted on Instagram recently. They're like, yeah, we know how to cut down a tree. And so then people were thinking that it was like referencing to like Teresa because she tree.
Well, I'm sure it is a dig.
Yeah. Anyway.
Behind.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just like,
I mean, it actually happened. So they go, well, we did chop down a tree.
Mm-hmm. So
you take it how you want.
The internet sleuths are like, shade.
Yeah.
And then we go back to like Rachel and Jen Fessler's beef. So I don't really care about this beef, to be honest. Which is, again, their beef is because Jen Fessler was asked by Gia, Teresa's daughter, like, hey, was my name mentioned? Oh, no. And then Rachel thought that she was like defending Gia and Teresa for something.
It's just an overreaction to something
stupid. So then they basically haven't, had beef. And they literally known each other for like 2 years. And they claim they're like, oh, yeah, we were super close. Like, okay, you go to a house party. It doesn't make you siblings.
Oh, they made it seem last season like it was years.
Yeah, like they met each other last season. So that's why I was like, you guys you're not like that 10 close. No.
Oh.
I guarantee Jen Fessler would have not been hanging out with her when she was 21, 22.
Yeah, that's what I was confused.
Yeah, they met each other 2 years ago. So I think the whole thing of like, oh my god, we're so close. No, you're not. Sorry.
Well, we don't have anything really in common. I mean, Fessler's how old? In her 50s?
54, I think.
She's early 30s. Like, old enough to be her mom, if you really think about it.
So, anyway. I don't care about that beef. And then we have later on Jen, Aiden, and Teresa meet up. And so then Jennifer lays it out and basically is like telling Teresa to be there for her and stick up for her more, which Teresa says that she'll obviously pick pick Jennifer over Danielle any day.
Okay,
because she's
we've
a better
already
friend.
seen this situation with Teresa many, many times in many other seasons. She's only going to be around somebody who benefits her.
Well, what does she get the benefit from Danielle from?
I don't know. I mean, her mind is different, so who knows? But, I mean, I don't know. She has her way of thinking, and it's not usually the correct way. But she's done this before, so we'll see a falling out between those two before you know it.
Yeah. Well, I think also like she's kind of being like, okay, yeah, I need to defend you because also she's the only one that like was willing to film with her, other than Dolores.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, you saw who showed up at the thing, and I mean, like the only other housewife besides Dolores.
Yeah, Danielle.
Yeah, I guess.
So I think she's kind of playing the fence too.
Anyway, so then they like make up and basically, which I was proud of Jennifer for being like, yeah, you need to start sticking up for me more. Like, I'm not going to hang out with someone that physically assaulted me. But at the same time, like, you're hanging out with the person Teresa doesn't want to associate with. So I see both sides where it's like, how are you going to tell me who to be friends with me while you're hanging out with my sister-in-law who I want nothing to do with? But anyway, speak up in your friendships because it's important. Anyway, so then Rachel, I guess, is having some slumber party with all the ladies except Teresa, of course. And so they all have like these matching pajamas, and so then I guess Rachel got them like slippers. So when they arrive, Margaret makes the comment that Jackie has hooves instead of feet.
Petty.
Mm-hmm. So then Jen Fessler shows up to the slumber party, which she was planning. She was not going to go because she was like beefing with Rachel, and then she ended up texting her and being like, "Okay, yeah, I'm actually thinking about it. Like, I want to
Mm-hmm.
go." And then they make up for now, considering they're no longer friends currently, like in current time. And then they have like a lip reader comes over to the slumber party, which I guess you do like you put lipstick on, you like kiss this card thing, and then the lip reader she reads, I don't know, based on your lines. Never heard of it before. Mm-hmm. And then she shades Margaret, saying, "You've been on this earth for so long that, you know, you've done a lot of whatever." It was funny. Let's see. And then Danielle comes in, makes a cake for the ladies, and
which looks horrible. I don't know. It looked like her daughter did it.
Horrible. Danielle, if Bougie Kids does not
do well... You gotta give her credit for actually bringing something like that, but it was... I don't know. It just looked like her daughter did it.
It was so bad. Like, if your Bougie Kids doesn't do well, don't open up a bakery, for sure. Or at least, no, don't. And then there was like a crooked person on the side that like was half off the cake. It was
falling off the cake, yeah.
And that's when somebody said like, "Oh, was that Jennifer?" Mm-hmm. She's like, no comment. Anyway.
She kind of admitted that she did it.
Yeah. Shady. But
a little petty.
Overall, they like filmed this whole thing, and I mean, they had like their fun, but at the same time, it was just honestly a test screening of seeing how they could like integrate without Teresa.
You think?
Yeah. And I personally was bored with it, but that was just me. So overall, the episode like ends and, you know, boring kind of, but how did you feel about this episode?
Well, I think the whole season is pretty, you know, stale as far as like what's happening, what's going on. Mm-hmm. Like there hasn't been any true action at this point, and we're into what?
Episode 12 is tonight, I think.
Yeah, I mean, come on. By now, when, you know, back in the glory days of Jacqueline and even having all three Loritas on there, I mean, it would have been...
I miss those days, because Jersey never had like a boring season, I feel like, until like last season was kind of boring, but this season was just horrible.
Yeah, it's progressively gotten a little worse as far as the storylines and everything else. So.
Yeah. So anyway, Jersey, I'm anticipating a big cast shakeup, but at the same time, like, if you get rid of, like, say all of the B team, where it's like Margaret, Rachel, Melissa, then you're gonna have people that, you know, you don't necessarily have issues with, and then it's just gonna be like, all right, well, let's throw in some other people. Anyway, like, Instagram was saying that they want Kim D to be a full-time housewife, and they want Danielle Staub back, and they want all these other people. It's like, oh god.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't watch.
So I don't know how that's gonna be, but I'm anticipating a change in the future, hopefully. So Bravo, make the right choice.
We shall see.
Anyway, okay, we're gonna take a little break, and then we're gonna get right into Dubai. Okay, guys, we are back, and like I said, we're gonna get right into RHO Dubai. So I'm really liking Dubai, like I said last week. So we get into like the aftermath of like the verbal brawl that took place between Talene and Brooks, and so that's obviously what everybody's talking about.
The screaming in the streets.
Yes, the screaming in the streets.
Against the law.
Mm-hmm. In Dubai, yeah, they got some interesting laws. So they're all still planning on going to Bali.
Yeah.
So then we get like the whole like packing montage, yeah, whatever. And then Brooks is telling Sarah that she feels betrayed by Talene, that Talene turned her back on her. When?
I don't know. She made it sound like it was like leading up to the whole thing, and you know.
I guess.
Like the interactions that we see weren't the only ones. That's what.
Like saying like off camera.
Yeah, but
interesting.
I don't know how that could be.
And then the funny thing I think about it is like, also she said to Sarah, she's like, yeah, I'm packing. Meanwhile, her like assistant, housekeeper, whatever she is doing it. Yeah. It's like, you're not packing, actually.
None of these women actually do that.
And then, so she has a person that makes her kid dinner, even though she's like, okay, I'm going to make you a pizza. And she turns to the person, she says, I'm going to need you to get everything ready for the pizza. And she has someone pack her clothes and all this other stuff, yet she claims she's so busy. She's so busy to not even pack her own clothes or make her kid food. No.
That's how these housewives are.
You're not. Anyway, so then long story short, the ladies arrive at the airport, and then Stanbury arrives with Sergio and all of his bags. And she says, okay, he's coming to Bali. And then the girls are like, what are you talking about?
Ayan was having a fit.
I know, Ayan's like, I'm not okay with it.
No.
It's a girls' trip.
No.
Which, like, props to you for saying no.
I would be offended, too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you say it's a girls' trip, then that means there's no husbands.
Mm-hmm. Which I thought for sure he was showing up. I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, but he does give her a funny, and he was off to Spain.
Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm just kidding.
But he did give her, what was it, like a picture or something?
It was a poster of himself.
Yeah, to take.
Yeah.
With. So he was leading the crew. I think Talene was actually, like, out front with this poster, leading the girls into the flights.
I guess.
So I thought he pulled that off pretty funny.
Anyway, but I'm like, if you're going to Spain after she just said, oh yeah, you're going to watch my kids. Who's watching the kids? I'm assuming the ex-husband.
Well, I mean, they have staff, right?
Yeah, but
nannies and stuff.
Here we go again, where it's like, all these people like mom shame each other, but it's like you all do the same thing.
It doesn't matter. They're not home for their kids.
Anyway, and then
they lead totally different lives.
Yes, they're all waiting, and Brooks doesn't arrive to the airport, and they're like, "Well, where is she?" And then I guess she's not answering any of the calls.
She made it all mysterious.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh my God, where is she? Is she okay?
Happened.
Oh my God, did she get kidnapped?
Stan's
Be for real."
I'm not worried about her.
Mm-hmm. So then they all get on the flight. They're like, "All right, well, she's not coming, so whatever."
Well, I'm glad that they went and didn't cancel it because she didn't show and over dramatized it that way. Mm-hmm. So they're like, "Okay, peace out, we're leaving."
Yeah, and so then they get into the first day of Bali, and it's all good vibes. They're like a core group, which
everybody got along.
Okay, yeah, kumbaya, it was great. And then they start, they had like their first dinner, I think, and they had like pasta or something, right? Was it pasta first night?
Yeah, Lisa had some special chef.
Mm-hmm. With the cheese wheel. Ooh.
Yeah.
But also, where you're eating pasta in Bali. But good to know, in case I ever go to Bali, that they do have pasta there. Good to know.
Well, it sounds like she flew him in to actually do the cooking. Mm. And so he had to have brought all that food in with him. Gotcha. That he was going to prepare.
How much do you think they charge for a cheese wheel to be in a luggage suitcase?
I have no idea.
Mm. Anyway, and so, of course, they have like a dinner, and then Ayan's like telling Talene, she's like, "Oh, I heard that you were chasing Brooks up and down the street." And that's when Talene's like, "Don't even do this. We just set the intention to like have no drama. We're good vibes." And so good for her for sticking up, being like, "Don't go there. That's messy. That's dirty." Mm-hmm. And then they start doing like a dance party thing, and then of course, what do you know? The door's open. Here comes Brooks making her big entrance. It's like,
And then claiming that she took a PG.
Mm-hmm. She said PJ.
Or PG, I mean.
She took a private jet, allegedly.
Private jet, not a
And it cost her $250,000 or something. So now they're all like,
where'd you get that money?
Where'd you get that money? Who's supplying this? Is it a man?
She's such a liar.
Yeah, she's a liar.
She wants to always look important and play the part.
Yeah. Anyway, and so then the next morning they go on like a catamaran, and it's like a boat type thing, obviously. And then Stanbury calls out Brooks on her BS of her healing journey. She's like, "Well, stop the healing." Mm-hmm. Because I would agree too. Your healing journey is BS.
Session,
yeah, you went to one session.
She's telling us that as in her confessions, but what do you do?
Yeah.
But again, she's lying, playing it off, saying, "Oh, I'm a healed woman."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's not. She's still evil.
I wonder what she's telling Sarah that during that time. Like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to these healing things." Meanwhile, like the person she set her up with for the healing is like, she doesn't show up.
Yeah.
Kind of odd. And then we get into Ayan getting a voice note, which is brought up with Stanbury, as far as like, "Oh, how are you dealing with Sarah?" Because they're out on the catamaran, they like stop and they like drop the anchor and then they go swimming for a little minute. And that's when Ayan's like, "I'm not getting in the water." And then Stanbury's like, "No, same." And then, they talk about this voice note and how they're basically...
Which is basically a voice note, right?
Well, there's like a voice
note.
A voice note is like a voice note. You know how you can send like an audio to somebody in a text?
I've never done that personally.
Yeah, you need to start doing it.
So that's why.
Because half the time with your autocorrect, where you say for and it's fur, F-I-R. When you do Siri.
My phone does that.
Yeah.
Like a fir tree, basically.
Yeah. Anyway, so she says, Ayan says that she got a voice note where Sarah is saying that she's not Brooks' biggest fan. And she tells this the previous day or like a few days before the Bali trip to Talene, and she says it to Stanbury. And they're like, "Ooh, well that's crazy." Considering she's like basically the soldier for Brooks. And so then the voice note gets brought up at the dinner table later that night. And basically they're like, "Well, what was in the voice note?" And that's when Talene's like, "That you're not the biggest fan of Caroline Brooks," and says that to Sarah. Sarah's like, "What?" And that's when Lisa basically, what did Ion say? Ion was like, "Oh yeah, I shared it with him. I'm sorry," and looks to Lisa and she's like, "Oh, messy." Like she basically outed her for being the one that had the voice note. So
that's not gonna.
It went from Sarah was talking to Lisa, and then Lisa sent it to Ion. Ion played it to Stanberry and Talene. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Brooks didn't get anything about it until I guess next week. It's a to be continued. Mm-hmm. So, and that's where we start to see the demise of
their relationship.
Lisa and Ion's like trusting relationship. So
all good things must come to an end. Mm-hmm. All because she wants maritime.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
But not too much.
Not too much of an episode. I mean, they were mainly just showing excursions and stuff. And
which I'm glad that they're actually gone.
Yes.
Somewhere
like other than the desert. Ugh. Mm-hmm. Which I remember with last season they made the desert their whole thing. Mm-hmm. Desert wedding. Let's go somewhere in the desert. And anyway, but I like this episode. This episode was really good. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for the next episode. So anyway, we're going to take a little break again, and we're going to get right into OC. All right, everybody, we are back, and like I said, we're going to talk about OC. So it's continued from last week's episode, which is where like Gina and Jen meet up, and that's when she like calls out Jen for like not paying rent, and meanwhile you're having like your hair extensions put in, you're having your makeup, you're having new clothes, you're driving a Range Rover, and so then Gina like storms out and is like, "Don't like drive me over and run me over with your BS. Like you're costing me money." And, you should have been paying your rent instead of having all your other materialistic stuff done. Mm-hmm. So then she calls her bestie, Emily, while she's in her car. And then they guarantee that Jen will show up to the flag football event that they're hosting soon in full glam. Yeah. Emily calls her broke Malibu Barbie. Mm-hmm. Which, if I were you, Jen, I would start capitalizing on this stuff. Because I think there's a lot of broke Malibu Barbies out in this world. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And did you know last season, like when it was like the whole dick pic situation with Ryan, that they capitalized on that, and they did like
I don't really like you saying that.
Yeah, and they did like a hat, anyway, and it was stupid, but yeah, they were trying to make money off of that, I guess. And then they brought one to Andy Cohen. And he was like, "Oh, thanks."
Yeah, like it didn't land well.
No, he's like, "All right, cool, thanks." Anyway, but if I were you, I'd start capitalizing on it, make some merch. But anyway,
Barbie.
Yeah, there's a lot of broke people out here that have Barbie dreams. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and then like a few days later, they meet for flag football. So like the whole group, and then they split into two teams, which ironically, everyone who's beefing is now on opposite teams. Which it should have been. So now they're going against each other. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, so let's see. Who was on the one team? Heather, of course, was going to be the referee because she doesn't get down and dirty. Right. And then on one team,
it's blowing that whistle.
Yeah. On one team, it was Emily, Gina, Shannon, and then like all of the other people that showed up. And then on the other team, it was Katie and Alexis, Tamara, and other people. Mm-hmm. Oh, and Jen, I think Jen was on that team. Yeah. Maybe she wasn't. Yeah. Anyway, and then, so of course the athletic team wins, which is like Gina's team, and anyway. So during that time, though, Jen does show up in full glam, hair braided, ready to get dirty in the sand, I guess, on the beach. And then,
but it sounds like Ryan's just footing the bill, so.
Yeah.
She doesn't care.
And then they reunite, so Gina and Jen reunite, and the vibes are still off. So then Gina gives her more of a perspective on how she vouched for Jen, and then calls Jen a squatter. Mm-hmm. Which Emily's like, yeah, you're a squatter. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice people.
And so then Jen basically gets into how, like, Ryan is, like, paying for stuff now. They moved in with him, and without him, she would be homeless with, like, 5 kids. Mm-hmm. And so she
she's depending on me.
Yes. She also gave up her car, and Ryan gave her his. And he's like, yeah, I'll just get a new car. You take mine. Which I guess he absorbed the debt that she owes or something on the car. Yeah. I don't know how that works. But again, like you said,
like he's loaded, though.
Depending on the man. Well, I would be loaded too if I allegedly took $16 million out of someone else's account.
We don't know that yet.
That's why I say allegedly.
Mm-hmm. Something will come out about it.
Yes. And so, Yeah, do you think that's why she's staying with Ryan still, even after that scandal just broke? It's because, like she said, like, without him, I'd be homeless.
Yeah, she has nothing.
Mm-hmm. Like, you make more as, like, a second season housewife, but at the same time, you don't make enough to where you can pay, like, I think they said
her lifestyle.
Yeah, her lifestyle, where it was, like, $12,000 a month in rent, and she was paying, like, 2 months, so $24K.
And that's just rent.
Mm-hmm.
That's not utilities.
It's not your new clothes you have to get. You're paying for 5 kids, food, schooling.
All your car payments.
Yeah. It's such
Costs
a mess.
A lot. Plus, just living in that area, it's very expensive.
So, anyway, yeah, she expresses how, without him, she wouldn't be anywhere else. Mm-hmm. And,
but
then
it sounds like the parents also are helping her. But I don't know how well off they are. But
yeah. So, I don't know. So then Gina's basically saying how that added more stress to her life since Travis, I guess, is moving out because, like we were talking about last week, the house that they're currently in, Gina and Travis, it's not big enough, I guess, for 6 kids as they're growing. Because I think, I don't remember if it's the same situation, but there's 3 girls, because there's 3 girls and 3 boys as, like, the kiddos. And the 3 girls are in one room and the 3 boys are in one room.
Yeah, it's a lot. I don't know how old they are now, but...
No, they're like, let's see if... her oldest kid is like 11 now. So, I don't know how old Travis' kids are because we don't see them on the show. But, anyway, so that added a bunch of stress. And so then, I guess none of them knew that he was moving out other than Emily. And so then, of course, Jen and Gina, they make up. Okay, good, yay, whatever. And then Shannon says that John and Alexis now go to the same gym that she goes to.
Yeah. Which... Alexis plays it off like she hadn't been there for 6 months, so it really doesn't matter.
Which it's like, why do you care? I get it that there's other gyms, but at the same time, like,
maybe they could run into each other and it would be awkward.
I guess that's their. But if you have this trainer that you have booked times with, you're not going to run into them.
It's just something to complain about.
And then asks Gina and Emily or whatever if Alexis talks about her sex life with John Jansen, which she does. Anyway, so she takes that little nugget. Yeah, gross. I don't need to know about 45-plus-year-old. Ugh. Gross.
She's nasty.
Gross. I don't need to know about that. Thank you, though. And then later on, Shannon and Emily get together, and then Emily's doing like a boudoir photo shoot for Shane. Now that she's like fit in this new body, she says that
she looks really good.
She looks really good. That she doesn't take rest days for working out because now it's become an obsession, and she feels like if she takes a rest day, that she's suddenly going back to when she was 40 pounds heavier.
Which there's always that fear, because people get comfortable, and it's happened to me several times throughout my life. Oh, I can eat that now. Oh, I don't need to go to the gym. And then slowly but surely you kind of creep back up.
Yeah. So, anyway, definitely.
So, yeah, I can see her
relatable.
Being fearful of that.
And so then during that same time, Jen, Tamara, and Alexis meet up for a walk. And Alexis has a dog named Biscuit that looks kind of like Archie Boudoir.
Yeah, so yet again, something similar to what Shannon has.
Because Shannon's dog's
Archie. It's kind of creepy that way.
Yeah.
Like they said, did they say single white female? Yeah, it's kind of filmed like that a little bit.
Yeah. And she's like, I adopted this dog. Which I guess it was the family dog when she was with Jim Bellino. But then I guess he was wanting to get rid of the dog or whatever during that time.
What?
Yeah. Because he's like, I don't want this dog. Obviously, it was probably like this is for the kids and then you situation. So then I guess she took the custody of the dog in the situation.
But that doesn't come out.
No, it doesn't happen at all.
On film.
This is like,
but
I guess,
is behind
the scenes type stuff.
Adopted the dog.
And so then, dog to begin with? Yeah, I don't know. Unless she put it up for the pound. I don't know. Anyway, so then Tamara starts giving Jen advice on like saying, don't lose yourself. Quit making financial decisions that are poor. And then we get into more of like how the yoga studio that Jen runs doesn't make money, or they don't basically pay themselves out because they're so like they're
probably
not,
all these bills.
They're not fronting, I guess, or like making money at this point, which is a lot like a common thing with businesses like first few years. Anyway, and then we get into the gym debacle again, And Shannon tells Emily that the owners of the gym told Alexis and John that they do not want drama at the gym. And basically they don't want drama at the gym, which involves, I guess, John and Alexis. And then that's when Alexis apparently says that she's a good Christian girl. And the gym owner says, yeah, the good Christian girl that talks about their sex life.
Yeah, so then the cat's out of the bag. So then they're like,
and that sparks John to
Shannon's
be like,
telling them
yeah. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, sparks a fire in John. He's like, F you, we're never coming back to this gym again, yada, 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 how dare you. Mm-hmm. And then that's when, they blame Shannon for this, which I see two different perspectives on this, where it's like, yeah, if Shannon has an issue that John is showing up to the gym, you probably may have mentioned that Alexis has thrown that out there, which could have been information from Shannon. But at the same time, if you're telling a random group of ladies,
matter
yeah,
to the gym owner what she's saying about that's the petty part of this whole thing.
It doesn't matter.
If you're a business person, you want as many
money
clients
is money
as you can get. So it seems like a petty statement that would have been said by a gym owner to a client. Like, so that seems like,
professionally I wouldn't have said that.
Why would he even go there with it? Like that's just stupid.
Yeah. So I'm not too sure about that one, but
hey.
Yeah. Anyway, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, if Alexis is saying details about what she does in her bedroom to a random group of ladies at Heather's luncheon, what are the odds that she's telling other people about that?
I'm sure.
But again, like you said, from a professional perspective, I would not.
If I owned a
bring
gym,
that up to a
care.
client.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
Do you?
We don't want any drama here. What's the drama other than he comes at different times than Shannon does? It's just stupid. And then Shannon makes the comparisons that John is duplicating all that he did with her now with Alexis, such as like taking her to the same hotel.
Place, yeah.
Yeah.
Same places for dinner.
Which it's like, I get it, but at the same time, like if I went somewhere for many years, you're most likely going to go there with, I mean, sorry, Shannon, but somebody was probably there at that same hotel before he started dating you. Like.
But there's several places to go to in Orange County, so that's just kind of too. Yeah. Like, use your imagination to do something different. In my mind.
Yeah. So
like, why repeat?
That is true, yeah. Like, okay, well, if, because if you went here with this person, I'm not coming here with this person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because why would you have two different memories from the same place? It's kind of crazy.
Especially if you get like the same like hotel room.
Ooh. Yeah, like why would you?
Gross.
I don't know.
And then
I wouldn't like that.
Yeah, no. Towards the end of the episode, Katie, the new girl, meets with Gina and then Real Housewife from Beverly Hills cast member Sutton. And then they discuss
other.
Yeah, how Katie met Sutton at, I guess, a party or something, and how she said Katie was dull when they first met, which is good to know that Sutton casually insults people when she first meets them, like when she called Teddy boring when she first met her, with the first few interactions. Yeah. And then that's when Katie was like, "What the F did you just say?" And then that's when she's like, "Oh, wait, I like you." Anyway. And then, yeah. So then Katie talks about how she met Heather at Sutton's Christmas party when she was talking to Gina. But then Gina says previously in that, like a few minutes before, she's like, "Yep, Sutton, I did not receive an invite to your Christmas party this year." But then I'm confused because Katie says that she met Heather when she was talking to Gina at that party.
What?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of confused about. Maybe I need to rewatch it. But I'm like, what is she talking about?
Sure it wasn't the year before?
It could have been. I don't know. But anyway, so that was kind of weird. And that she basically says that Heather like snubbed her. Like looked at her and then looked away. Which, who knows? We'll find out. And then Sutton's like, I would not go against Heather. Nope, I wouldn't go against her. Nope. But Katie doesn't seem like she's fazed. She's like, I'll deal with her if I need to.
Yeah, I don't think she's afraid of her.
Which is good for you, Katie, if that's the case. Later on, this is the last tidbit of this episode, where Emily talks to Shane about how they both need to be role models for their kids based on like a healthy, balanced lifestyle.
Right.
Which Emily's getting all fit. She sometimes takes her kids to the gym with her. Her stepdaughter, which is Shane's child from a previous marriage, basically said that she felt judged by Shane being like, you need to like start eating healthier, or like you need to like not go out to eat as much. Meanwhile, he goes to In-N-Out at least a few times a week.
Gets his big gulp.
And gets his big gulp every day. And traipses around the house with it. And then you just see the progression of like it shrinking and, you know. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so he's like, oh yeah, like, yeah, we need to try to figure this out. But at the same time, like,
he's not going to change anything about it. No.
And
Shane is Shane.
Emily says like she's worried about like these heart
palpitations.
Yeah, heart problems of like the husband dying at 45 and because out at somewhere. What did he say? He said something funny.
Be out at golf.
Yeah, he's like
out on the golf range.
He's like, well,
lucky for you, I don't golf.
I don't golf, so you don't have to worry about it.
That was funny.
It was funny. Anyway,
always making a joke out of it to make it light. And she's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he just has humor about it, so it's funny. Mm-hmm.
He's funny. I used to not like him.
Dude, yeah, like his character arc on this.
He's kind of an a-hole.
Yeah, but it's like funny to where you get it now, where it's intentional. Whereas
it's
first
sarcasm.
season we didn't know. We were like, oh.
Yeah, he's kind of a jerk, but no, he has a lot of sarcasm.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
they complement each other, I think, at this point.
They wrapped up that episode. Did you enjoy it overall? Are you liking OC so far? It's already 3 episodes in.
It seems like it's longer, actually, but no, it's actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I'm pissed about the fact that like we're not seeing as much Heather and Tamara this season. Like, I feel like they had their triumphant. Like Heather had her season 16; it was all about her. Tamara had last season all about her, and now it's like all about Shannon again. And they're being like kind of phased out. Like we don't really see like Tamara and Heather.
That's true. I didn't think about
like that. I didn't mention Tamara like once this episode on like maybe in the beginning when they went on like a walk and stuff.
True.
So I'm like, ugh.
And it's got a lot of Gina in it too.
Mm-hmm.
This season. So far, I mean, but maybe as
it's just based on what they have going on.
Maybe we'll see a little bit more.
I think we're gonna get a lot more content and trio stuff with Alexis, Heather, and Tamara. So anyway, time will tell. But thank you guys so much for listening. Share it with a friend.
Watch New Jersey tonight.
Yes, New Jersey's on tonight. And then, like we said, new episodes every single Monday to make your week start off with a great start, you know?
And we will try to continue with our Monday recaps, but I do go back to work on Thursday, so.
Yes. So,
really.
Work is starting back up. I am scared. I'm nervous, but it's okay.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll all be fine.
Anyway, but yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate you guys listening.
Guys,
leave a comment, share with a friend, subscribe, you know, do whatever you want to do. Leave us a little comment to be like, hey, you should talk about this, or oh my god, watch this show that I just started. It's amazing. And then we'll look into it. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.